One of the most common problems that my NP clients, especially ENTPs and ENFPs, come to me with is to-do list overwhelm and habit overwhelm. In other words, there are so many things that they want to do, so many ideas that they have, that they feel completely overwhelmed, and thus they end up doing nothing. They end up feeling stuck and beating themselves up for not doing better, and then judging themselves for not making enough progress, and what's wrong with me? I keep making the same mistake again and again. Why can't I just figure this out? And so they judge themselves for judging themselves, and it's just this vicious cycle where they just keep being really hard on themselves because they have this idea that it should be obvious. Figuring this out should be obvious. If I keep making the same mistake, there must be something wrong with me. I must be stupid. I must be broken in some way. What is going on? How can I keep failing in this same way? And, there are lots of factors at play here. One of them is that a lot of productivity books and podcasts and so on are made by different personality types, TJs. And so they give all these tips that work for them, but don't work for you because your mind is organized differently. And so it's easy to look at these successful NJ or SJ types and see that, they have this amazing resilience. They're just able to decide, I'm going to take on this new habit, and then they do it. They just keep following through. And if you can't do that, then you think, well, there's something wrong with me. And the truth is that, it's just a different tactic is required for you with a different mind type. I think one of the places to start investigating this is to recognize this fundamental misconception that we NP types tend to have until we start to figure it out, which is that if I try to do everything, I will end up doing nothing. And that's the trouble. It's that we imagine it's possible to do all the things, where our minds are constantly generating new ideas. We're such innovators, right? We're always looking around and thinking about the ways we can improve things, and business ideas or ideas for songs or books or whatever it is that we create, right? And so our minds are constantly spilling out all these ideas, and that's wonderful. But the problem is when we convince ourselves that it's possible to actually turn all those ideas into action. And so we end up stretching ourselves too thin and trying to do too many things, and then we fail, right? And it's funny because we often think, I am going to write down all the things. I'm going to enter them all into my to-do list of choice. That way I won't forget them because I have so many brilliant ideas, so I need to get them all in there, and then that way they won't be lost. But what's really happening there is you are trading one problem for another. You are eliminating the problem of forgetting them, but you're gaining the problem of overwhelm, anxiety, right? So great, you won't forget them, but now every time you open your app, you're totally overwhelmed. And so it's funny, I had an ENTP client tell me today, I found this amazing to-do app. I've tried 10 of them, and this one seemed like, wow, it has just the features that I need. It's the perfect app for me. It's amazing. So I've entered all my stuff in there, but for some reason, I don't use it. For some reason, I don't open it every day and actually do the things in it. And I looked at them and I said, really, for some reason? What do you think? What could that reason be? And, the truth is that all living organisms, or the vast majority of them, there might be some exceptions, have this very core built-in imperative: seek pleasure, avoid pain, right? And so if your to-do list is completely overwhelming and completely impossible, if there's no way that any human could ever do all the things on this list, then of course whenever you open it up, it's going to cause you pain, right? You're going to suffer whenever you see, here is an impossible goal. Here is an impossible standard that I have set for myself. I am going to hold myself to doing this even though it's impossible. That's painful, right? Of course it makes you suffer. So why would you open the app and cause yourself suffering? So there's a lot of nuance here because, of course, you want to do some things, even if you realize I can't do everything. You still want to make some progress. So I'm not saying, abandon all productivity, abandon getting things done. But I think that the first step here is realism. Being real with yourself that, sure, I have lots of ideas, and I am never going to act on most of them. Most of my ideas are just fun things to think about, and that's it. And I think instead of seeing it as all my ideas go into this stack of sticky notes and imagining that I'm going to do the top one, peel it away, do the next one, peel it away, get through the whole list, instead see your ideas as a river going by. That, oh, yep, there was an idea. That was a fun one for a while. Nope, off it goes. Oh, here's another idea. Oh, that's a fun one. Nope, there it goes down the river, right? And, that way you're holding it all more loosely. You're not putting this pressure on yourself that you have to do something with every idea. And certainly there are going to be some gold nuggets in there, right? Like maybe an idea is floating by the river and you say, oh, that one. Yes, I'm going to grab that one out of the river and I'm doing that one. Right? But it should be kind of more the exception than the rule. Most ideas are going to flow down the river. And it's only going to be the exceptions that you actually pluck out and decide these are the gold nuggets. These are the ones that I'm really feeling are alive for me. Right? They're not just things that popped into my head, but they're things that maybe have popped into my head repeatedly. Like I can't stop thinking about this idea. I wake up in the morning and the idea is there again. Right? Wow. Okay, this one is really important. And I think that's, one way of thinking about this is, sure, write down all your ideas in your to-do list of choice. Great. But, what I've found when I really go easy on myself is that the best ideas actually pop into my head again from my subconscious. So it's funny because then I go through my to-do list and a lot of the most important ones have actually ended up getting done even though I didn't look at my to-do list, because I've developed my natural capacity to trust myself and close my eyes and breathe and really just notice what is alive for me. And so I would encourage you to treat your to-do list, especially, maybe you have one smaller to-do list that's your really active one, and then you have a much longer one that's just kind of your everything goes in here, right? Your grab bag to-do list. And that one, you really have to assume the vast majority of stuff is never going to get done. But when you add things there, it's at least, tucking them away so that the kind of machinery of your subconscious can kind of tag them. And if it is something that really resonates with you, then your subconscious will remind you. And if that idea pops up again 2 or 3 times, that's a good signal for you. So I think that's one piece of advice for today is treat your kind of long to-do list as something that most of those things are never going to get done, and rely on that idea popping up again and again. And the second thing is have a very short to-do list of actual active items that need to get done. And this one should definitely not be more than 5 items at a time. I would really recommend 3, or actually just 1, until you actually do it consistently, right? Like it does you no good to have 5 items on your to-do list if you never finish them, right? So what I really suggest is start with one thing. Start with a sticky note. And before you go to bed at night, write down what is the one thing you want to do tomorrow. Or when you wake up in the morning, the first thing you do is write down what is your one most important to do today. And, if you work with a to-do list of just one item for a while, if you can do that one item every single day for a couple weeks, great. Start putting 2 items on there. Then keep doing that. Okay, now you can work your way up to 3 items. And if you start failing, maybe 3 was too much, go back down to 2. Right? So that's the key, I think, is if you actually want to get things done, one at a time. Just focus on one. And you might think, I'm failing, or all these things are important. I have to do all these new habits at once. But you're just lying to yourself. If you say, I have to do all 5 of these habits, and you're not consistent, and you're failing at all 5, what does that actually get you? Right? Much better to do 1, commit to 1, actually get it done, then commit to 2, actually get 2 done, and work your way up to 5. All right? So if you're an NP like me, I know you have so many awesome ideas, and I want you to actually do them. I want you to actually make progress on the most important ones. So the key is reducing your expectations and actually learning to finish things one at a time. And it's okay, to change your mind too. Maybe you work on one for a while and you realize this actually isn't working out. This one doesn't turn out to be right. It's okay to discard it and switch to another one. But don't overwhelm yourself. Don't overpromise to yourself, or you're just going to be disappointed. All right. Good luck. Let me know how it goes.